Hi everyone. Today is 20th June still. Now is almost 10 o'clock in the afternoon and this is my second video. First one about airstrike on Zaporozhye's nuclear power plant by the Zelensky's Nazi regime did not receive much attention, but it is what it is, man. Because my opinion is did not go well or hand to hand with Western propaganda. I do understand that my content will be suppressed and not that many people will see these videos. So views gonna be always in low numbers. Only hope is that some of you may share these videos if you have a similar opinion about current events or close opinion to mine, and that way we may reach some big audience. But it is what it is, man. In this video I like to talk about statements that Russian president made today, because he did give some interesting speech in one of the conferences that he was attending. So let me read to you. Let me read for you quotes from his speech. These quotes are translated by Google, so it may be not 100% exact translation, but I don't have a program that will translate it better. Anyhow, so today Putin says, quote, "Now at the national and the global level, the foundations are being laid for a new, more just, socially oriented and a secure world order. These grandiose changes are, of course, irreversible. No matter how much Western and so-called multinational elites strive to preserve the existing order of things, a new era is coming, a new stage in world history, and only truly sovereign states can ensure high growth dynamics, become an example for others in standards and the quality of life, protection of traditional values and high humanistic ideals, models of development in which a person becomes not a means but the highest goal." So, end of quote. So, as you can see, Putin is talking about new era that are coming, and to be honest, I do strongly believe that some big changes are on the horizon. You can call it a new era or whatever, but some big changes are coming, and I'm afraid that even Putin are mistaken if he thinks that this so-called new era will 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 be will arrive without will be the same reality that will that future is holding for human civilization. What I'm trying to say is that nowadays, it's obvious that things are changing because of economic power is shifting from east from west to east. Uh, Same way changing political power and West is in some kind of agony because of that. Because ruling Western elites, of course, don't want to share power with anybody or to take anyone as an equal. They never did that in their history, and they never will because they don't know how to do it. So that's how I see Western elites. I mean, ruling class. So, of course, one may think that West will gradually lose grip on the world, and in so-called new era, there will be multipolar world in which many countries will lead human society to a new horizons, if you like. And it seems like Putin himself does believe in that in some time Russia, China, India, Brazil, Argentina, in some sense even EU, US, but will lead this world. Not single-handedly. No one country will do it single-handedly like now USA is trying, with some allies in the Western world. But point is that in my understanding this view is a big mistake. This is not gonna happen, man. Because in my understanding Western elites will do anything to maintain power, and if it's needed in the strategic calculations, if it's needed, they will destroy current world order, entire world, and on ruins of this world will build new one in which no one will even try to oppose their will. So how they gonna do it? I mean, question is what Western elites will do to achieve this kind of result. And the answer is quite on the surface, really. I mean, if you want to see it, you will, you should be able to see it, because look at the Western geopolitics for last, let's say, 10 to 15 years, man. From 2008, per se, we can see that from 2008, when Washington ordered then Georgian President Saakashvili to provoke Russia militarily. Since then, in Western world, we can see extremely active propaganda to demonize Russian by any means necessary. I mean, they are lying, they are lying in non-stop regime, and to achieve this goal. But point is that in 2008, things being done like in short terms, like Russia was provoked by Saakashvili's regime, and there was some military conflict between Russia and Georgia, but only for a few days. And because of that, no matter how much West tried to demonize Russia, it was not enough to persuade, even in Western worlds, many countries, to take an anti-Russian stance. Example can be Germany, for example. Even though German is then Chancellor Angela Merkel was quite hawkish towards Russia. I mean, she never she never did stuff that current German Chancellor is doing. She was trying, at least trying, to maintain some sense of adequacy, to stay in touch with reality. But then we had 2014 when yet again Washington provoked regime change in Ukraine, and that was we can say game changer, because Americans bring to power some neo-Nazi elements. And because they knew that Russia just could not stay away from this kind of developments. And eventually, in 2022, they did push current Ukrainian government to provoke Russia so much so that Moscow will intervene militarily. So, and then what happened? Washington and London use this opportunity to push European states to the corner, using the puppets in elites of Western Europe, particularly of Western Europe. So we end up in a situation when Washington did succeed in reaching the goal that was to isolate Russia from Europe. Now we do see that Russia and Europe are in worst Russian and European relations are at lowest point probably since Second World War. But point is that this is just the beginning. I mean, this is, as I said, Georgian in 2008, Ukraine in 2014, and Ukraine again in 2022. It's just puzzles, little episodes in a big picture that Western elites are how you say it, man. These episodes are just puzzles, man. Just puzzles in big picture, which is based on geopolitical goals of Western elites. Eventually, what they want is, and I was talking about it in the previous videos, man, and I was writing about it for at least 10 years, man, since 2009, so it is more than 10 years. I was saying that Western elites want to isolate Russia from Europe and bring Russia closer to China. So Chinese dependence on and provoke and make sure that China's dependence on Russian energy supplies will rise dramatically. And this is what happened. We now have a situation when Russian energy supplies are critical for China. But for now, for this moment, China has many routes, not just one route from Russia to take energy, to import energy. China has a second big one. That's Middle East. That's Middle East. And I was saying that once West will succeed to push Russia closer to China, so China's dependence on Russian energy will rise to point of critical, then West will provoke war in Middle East between Iran and Saudi Arabia, or Iran and Israel. Because they want Persian Gulf to become unsustainable for shipping of oil and gas. As you know, most of the oil and gas from Middle East goes through Persian Gulf, and main recipient of this energy is China. So now, because West did succeed to isolate to distance Russia from Europe and push Russia and China closer together, now Western elites will try to. Now, when I talk about Western elites, let's be clear here, man. I'm talking about US and British elites, because they are running this show, man. These elites of Anglo-Saxons, man, they are running show. So next phase, in my understanding, will be provocation of instigation of the conflict in Middle East between Iran and Saudi Arabia, or Iran and Israel. Anyhow, Washington and London will do anything to make sure that shipping through Persian Gulf will be shut down. So in that sense, and why they gonna do it? Because they want to isolate China now from energy sources of Middle East. So Chinese dependence on Russia will increase even dramatically, because Russia will become only major source of energy for China. So then, when this point will come, and we may talk about like next 2 or 3 years, when Washington and London will succeed to push China out of Middle East, or to cut China from Middle Eastern energy, because they will probably provoke war between Iran and Saudi Arabia, or Iran and Israel, in a near future. So when that point comes, what Western elites will do, what Washington and London will do, is that they will try regime change in Russia. For real. Everything that we see in Russia with their so-called liberals and stuff was just a joke, man. That was not even exercise. After China will lose energy supply routes from Middle East because of war in that region that will be provoked by Washington and London, and after China's only major source of energy will become Russia, then Washington and London will definitely try to do some regime change in Russia. And the main goal will be to turn Russia around, to distance Russia from China. Because and if they succeed, main reason for that for West is that if they succeed in this plan, China and turn Russia, distance Russia from China, then Beijing will have no other option other than take some military actions against Russia and former Soviet republics in Middle Asia, particularly Kazakhstan and Turkmenistan, because they are rich with oil and gas. So if this gonna happen, then we are talking about world warming. And I do believe that that's what Western elites really want. That's their game plan. That's their game plan. Because if they succeed to provoke world war, if they succeed to in this kind of scenario that, in my understanding, they are pursuing right now, then any conflict between China and Russia will go nuclear. That's for sure. And once nuclear warheads being used, whole hell will break out. India and Pakistan will start shooting at each other. India and China. USA and NATO members that have nuclear weapons don't stay away too. They will start firing shots, particularly on China, because that's what they want, to destroy China. Only major economical power that can oppose them, can challenge them, So in this way, you can see that West will, if they do realize this kind of scenario, they will destroy entire world. They will destroy entire world, and because in this scenario, North America and Western Europe, at least in some sense, will stay away from main areas of battle. Maybe Western elites are thinking that they're gonna maintain infrastructure in the so-called Golden Billion area, which is EU and North America, plus Australia and New Zealand. You probably hear about so-called gold billion or golden billion. That is, West population of Western world is like billion people. So that's reference to that. So I don't know if I did explain my point of view good enough, but if you think about scenario that I just that I was talking about, I did talk about. You can see that Western elites will destroy entire world, and particularly countries that are at least for now major opponents of the West. That means Russia and China first and foremost, and then they will have no opposition whatsoever, because who gonna challenge Western elites if this kind of scenario will occur? No one gonna challenge, Western elites. And they will do with the so-called New World Order, or they will make the New World Order as they wish, as they like. They may erase states in the world. They may divide planet in the sectors, some kind of zones of and stuff. Then there will be no nations, no countries, nothing. They will, they can do anything. At that point, they will be able to do anything really. And that's a danger, man. That's a danger, because if you're watching what is going on in the world, you probably understand that most of the bad stuff that are happening is because of the Western elites. So can you imagine what they're gonna do in a situation when they have no opposition whatsoever? They will go. They are crazy right now. Then they will go absolute mad mode, man. You know, and they will make it. They will turn it into a hell, man. Because they are fucking sick motherfuckers, man. They are sick motherfuckers, man. Fucking animals, though. So it is what it is, man. I mean, Putin did talk today about new era, but I'm not sure that I'm not sure that he's reading big picture, at least in the same way that I do, because I am not so optimistic that Putin is, because I do see scenarios in which Western elites of Anglo-Saxons, will destroy entire world to maintain the dominance, in this world. So now, you can share your position, your view of the on the subject, and let's have discussion. I don't know, man. I don't even know if anyone will watch this video, because if YouTube is suppressing all videos of all authors that are, whose opinion are not don't go hand to hand with the Western propaganda, then I mean, you know. But anyhow, man, I don't really care. Even if 10 people watches this, that's good enough, man. No, for God's sake, man. I did share my opinion. I did exercise some English. And, that's good enough. So, yeah, this is it for now. See you soon and take care.